members-only TV series, honoring 50 years of hip-hop, featuring the iconic Ed Lover. Hosted by TW On Demand. Cocktails provided by Moet Hennessy. Great conversation on the way. Cheers to the members.
We have the magnificent Ed Lover in the building. Welcome to Members Only.
Thank you, brother. My mother would beg to differ with that.
You are living greatness, sir. How
Bro,
you been?
don't say that in front of my mother. My mother's like, that's my baby. That's all she care about.
I know that's right. How you feel, bro?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling magnificent. I'm happy to be around for the 50th anniversary of hip hop. That means a lot to me.
50. And it's a special week as well because
The man just turned 30. It's been 30 years since we released that movie in April of 2003. Yeah, it's been 30 years. I can't believe it.
We gonna have a party for it? Like,
I think we're gonna do something, and it's finally streaming. It took 30 years for it to stream, and on Tubi. So thank you, Tubi. Now I get a streaming check. That's good. I like that.
Amen to that.
I like that. I got tired of getting them $2.47 checks. Them checks start out good. Them checks start out crazy, right? When the movie first come out, you start getting them residual checks. They start out crazy, then they start dwindling, where it's all the way down, and you looking at the check like, why did you even write this on a check? You could have just cash at me. Just $3 or something. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Being that you were blessed to experience all eras of hip hop, how do you feel about hip hop today?
I like hip hop.
Yeah.
I think there's some amazing hip hop artists out there. I just don't think those are the ones that's really getting the shine that they deserve to get. Like, we can't say that there's something wrong with hip hop. We just, it's just not our hip hop. And that's cool, right? Because we had our stars, and I remember when hip hop was first busting out, and I was listening to tapes, man, and my cousins used to bring me tapes from the Bronx, like the Cold Crush, Fantastic Romantic 5, and the Funky 4 plus one more, and all of those groups. And Mo D, I heard Mo D Give It to Busy B, like that first battle, I heard that on tape. And my father used to be like, what is that? Turn that crap. Anybody could doom, doom, bing it, a bang, bang, the bing. He hated it. And then later on in life, he understood what it was. So we can't crap on the younger generation's music. That's their music. We had our music, y'all got your music. The generation behind you is gonna have their music, and that's just what it is.
Facts. How did you acquire the opportunity to be a part of Yo MTV Raps?
Oh, I acquired the opportunity of Yo MTV Raps via one of the creators of Yo MTV Raps, Ted Demme. I knew Ted from a religious retreat. Ted's father was very high in the Episcopalian Diocese of Queens, and so was my best friend's mom, my best friend Kurt Flirt. So whenever they had to go to retreats to keep Kurt out of trouble, she'd bring me, not knowing that was more trouble. And that's where we met this little white kid from Rockville Center that loved hip hop. And when Ted got on MTV and they created Yo MTV Raps, I saw his name on the credits. I was at a friend's house. I didn't even have MTV in my section of Queens, New York yet. But I was over a friend's house that had it. And I was like, I wonder if that's the same Ted Demme that I knew from high school, that I knew that we used to go up to his college and hang out with him, and it was the same Ted. So I started bothering him, like, yo, dude, I need to get on here because don't nobody know more about hip hop than I do. And he had Fab, and I was like, well, let me do a record report. Let me do a movie review. Let me do something. And when they decided to swing that into a weekly show, a daily show, Freddie was weekly, and they decided to swing it into a daily show, Ted tapped me for audition. Peter Doherty, who was the other creator, tapped Dre. Ted put us together.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was one of your favorite episodes off of Yo MTV?
I got two.
Yeah.
Weeks, two favorite weeks. Week was James Brown. It's my all-time favorite because James Brown is the godfather of soul and the backbone of hip hop. You know, he's probably the most sampled person in hip hop history.
Ever.
You know, James Brown. So to be able to be with the godfather of soul, to do a week worth of shows with James Brown there, and he has everybody else on that set calling him Mr. Brown. And he allowed myself, T-Money, and Dr. Dre to call him James.
Wow.
And then when he found out that my first name was James, that was really like a bond and a connect, man. And for me to be able to call my parents and be like, yo, James Brown is right here. Mom, talk to James Brown. It was crazy. James Brown is one, and I know this man has gone through his troubles, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that has any other adverse feelings about him, but Bill Cosby. Because we had Bill Cosby on for a week, and it was the height of the Cosby Show, and he called me, like out of the blue. He called MTV looking for me, and they left the number, and I called back to the Cosby Show, and he actually got on the phone. And I've been watching, I watched the Cosby Show, Fat Albert, I Spy, all that stuff since I was a kid. I know that Bill Cosby was one of the first black men in America to have his own private jet after James Brown. So for me to have Bill Cosby come on for a week to tell me that he was a fan of the show and he wanted to come on and do a week worth of shows, that was everything. That was everything to us. And just like a lot of the early artists that come through having the Wu-Tang Clan on. I remember having the Wu-Tang Clan on their first time on MTV,
and you
Old
had the
Dirty
suit
Bastard.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the karate suit on. They were not happy about that, bro. I didn't know they took Wu-Tang so seriously.
Very.
Oh, they was mad. And then Meth started laughing, and that's what made the rest of them laugh, because they was pissed at me being Master Wu with the Kung Fu, so they was burnt the whole time we was there. And having them on, man, having Old Dirty on, having Big on, having Tupac on, when he went off about the Hughes brothers and I put my hand over his mouth, all of that stuff just resonates with me forever. It's just one of my favorite parts of ever doing your MTV Raps.
And your MTV ended in '96, correct?
We ended in '96, yeah.
Why do you think MTV wanted to end the show?
MTV started playing hip hop on the mainstream. I don't know why. They don't play any music videos now, but I guess they figured that there was no need for a specialty show. I beg to differ, but I don't control that. So,
being that you have you've seen it all, Ed.
Not all of it. There was a whole good at least 8-9 years of hip hop before 1989. So hip hop really started kind of like 77 on.
Yep.
So there was a lot of hip hop before I got my foot in the door. But I was always a fan.
Do you think Afrocentricity will ever return to mainstream hip hop?
I think I don't think mainstream,
right,
but I think there's always going to be a part of hip hop that needs it. See, the problem with hip hop right now is not the music, it's the lack of balance.
Okay.
It's the lack of balance that is being played. You don't get to hear everybody, because there's a lot of dope artists, right? You wouldn't say J. Cole is Afrocentric, but in the way he is, with the way he portrays himself, the dreadlocks, the everything that he's doing is kind of like very different from what most artists are doing. So there's always going to be a space in there. I just wish that we got to hear more diverse hip hop music played in mainstream radio.
What are some of your best memories in hip hop?
My best memories in hip hop, my first greatest memory in hip hop is, did you see the movie Straight Outta Compton?
Absolutely.
That concert that NWA ran off the stage, Dre and I hosted that concert. And that's the first out-of-town concert that we've ever hosted. And I remember both of us standing there scared to death, like, man, these people out here don't know us. What are we doing? Why are we hosting this thing? And the guy over the speaker system said, ladies and gentlemen, your host for the night from your MTV Raps, Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. And they lost it. And I was like, yo, dude, we like really on to something. We are really on to something. That spring break, being able to go to spring break when they didn't really have anything black going on, and being able to shoot your MTV Raps on spring break with Leaders of the New School. Of course, doing the movie Who's the Man, having all those hip hop artists in the movie. But spring break was special because the first day we came out to do your MTV Raps, they had an audience in there, mostly little white rock and roll kids. And I was like, there's gotta be something black going on down here. And they told me about Bethune-Cookman College. And me and Dre took our own money, printed up flyers, and went to Bethune and just mopped the whole place for flyers. And that next day, when we had Tribe and the Brand New Heavies and Leaders and all of them, it was a sea of black audiences. And it just audience members all over the place, just black kids just coming to feel that something that they had no idea was even going on down there. So that's one of my favorite memories, man.
Where do you think hip hop would be if there was no Yo MTV Raps?
Not as global. If I could say it's one thing that we were able to accomplish is taking hip hop from a regional music to a national music to an international music. It always warms my heart when I meet somebody in their 40s from anywhere, Nigeria, Italy, Germany, Amsterdam, that says, I didn't learn how to speak English until I watched you on TV Raps. So that's always been special to me.
Did you ever think hip hop would get this far?
Hell yeah. I knew it. Did I think it would be a multi-million-dollar business? No. But I knew that the music was something that couldn't be denied. Hip hop is like jazz in a sense, right? Because jazz came from people learning to play instruments, doing their own thing. And then when they took the music out of the school system, we had to learn how to do something else. And we learned how to manipulate a turntable, right? We learned how to use our voices as an instrument on a microphone. So hip hop is absolutely hands down the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life. And for a lot of us it is. I remember interviewing Dougie Fresh, and Dougie said something that resonated with me that will stay with me for the rest of my life. He said, I've never had a job. Never. He's been a beatbox since he was 15 years old. He's never had a job. I've put in the majority of my kids with master's degrees through college and grad school because I make money off hip hop. Everything I've ever done is connected to hip hop in one way, shape, or form. My podcast, Come On Sunday podcast, it's out right now. It's only there because Yo MTV Raps, and then to radio. Nothing But Classics every Saturday morning on V103 is because of radio, is because of Yo MTV Raps, is because of hip hop. My stand-up, I do stand-up. That's because I branched off of that because I had the opportunity because of hip hop. Everything that I do somehow is related. It goes full circle back
to hip hop.
To hip hop. Yeah.
So it's safe to say hip hop is your life?
Yeah, hip hop is, I am hip hop. I am hip hop in the flesh. I live, breathe it, walk it, talk it, still love it, still admire it, still a big fan. I love it. It's the music of generations. It's the music that moves people. You can get a good R&B song, you can get a great love song that makes you feel a certain way, but if a certain hip hop record come on, you know, there's certain records that get you that, you know, it's like Triumph from the Wu-Tang Clan. When you hear that, woo, it make you feel a certain way. No other music can make you feel like that except for hip hop. It can make you feel happy. It can put you in the mood of love. It can make you want to beat somebody up that you had beef with in the 3rd grade. If Shook Ones come on and I'm in a bad mood, I see somebody had beef with in the 4th grade, it might be on. It might be a problem. Only hip hop can make you feel that way. Only hip hop. And you see, hip hop has, like, it's permeated society, right? Like, if you go back to 92, 93, you saw Jordan and them. They was listening to R&B, right? In the 80s, and you know, with the teams back then, they was all R&B cats. Now, what do you see? Hip hop, right? You see Dr. Dre become a billionaire off of the Beat by Dre headphones that they sold to Apple, right? And the streaming service that they had, that came after. Apple bought the streaming service and they took the headphones just because, and him and Jimmy Iovine became billionaires. But what did you see LeBron James and every hip hop artist going into them locker rooms? What did they have on? Beats by Dre. It's hip hop, bro. Jay-Z is on the Forbes list. Jay-Z is a hip hop artist that branched out into different businesses, but it started with the root of that microphone in hip hop.
If you were able to create a Mount Rushmore for hip hop,
I won't do that.
You won't do it, huh?
I won't do it. I don't have a top 5. I don't have a top 10.
Can we go eras?
I go eras.
Okay.
In the first era, who's on the Mount Rushmore?
Yep.
Of hip hop, rap artists or anybody, period?
Rap.
Rap. It would have to be Melly Mel.
All right.
Mo D. Individuals or groups? Can I put Run DMC on there?
You can, sir.
I gotta put Run DMC on there. Run DMC, probably one of the greatest groups ever, and the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life, because if they didn't do the pilot for Yo MTV Raps and that was successful, I wouldn't have never had my opportunity. Right? You gotta put, is KRS One or is that the next? does that lay over? Can I
Kinda.
put Rick and Dougie Fresh on it? I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just, what is it, 4 people on Mount Rushmore?
But we got the power to create.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
It's,
you
too,
can't do it, huh?
it's too many people that meant too much to hip hop.
Yeah.
Leaving Dougie Fresh off of there would be disrespectful.
Can't leave Rakim.
You can't leave the R off
right,
of there.
Right.
Like Rakim changed hip hop 100%. Those are people I call game changers, right? Because before Mel, and Melly Mel don't get enough credit, and I think Melly Mel kills himself with credit because sometimes he's so bitter and so angry that people don't want to give him credit. But listen to the way people rhyme today. That's because of Mel. Everybody else was ding ding dong and throw your hands in the air and waving like you just don't care, and that was that. Mel was the whole paragraphs of rhyming. Mel and Duke Booty, the message changed hip hop 100% because before that everything was a party, right? Everything was throw your hands in the air, all the ladies in the house, the ladies. Mel came with broken glass everywhere, people pissing on the steps, you know, they just don't care. That opened the door to let people know that I can rhyme about reality, right? What's going on in my neighborhood right now. Mel did that. That's Mel. Then everything was aggressive. When Run DMC came out, they were aggressive. Cold Crush was aggressive. I listened to LL the other day when I was driving yesterday. You know I can't live without my radio. LL Cool J is hard as running them was aggressive. Marley Marl told me when they did My Melody, Rakim rhymed it sitting in a chair. He said, nah, man, you got to stand up and get into it. Rob said, nah, this is how I get down, bro. Rob put syllables and words and phrases and stuff that you never heard before. My name is Rakim Allah, and Aura, A stand for Ra, spin it around. It still comes out, oh, I had to do that. I was like, Rakim Allah, R-A stands for Ra, spin it around, it still comes out, oh, A-R, back. That's all. I was like, yo, so easily do I E-M-C-E-E. My repetition of words is check out my melody. You never heard an MC say repetition before you heard Rakim say it. Rakim changed the game. There's no Rakim, there's no Biggie, there's no Jay, there's no Nas, there's no Kendrick, there's none of them. There's no Snoop. That laid back flow, that unaggressive flow, there's no Eminem, that's Rakim. That's Rakim. That's changing the game. There's no Talib. There's no Mos Def. There's no J. Cole. There's no Pusha T. There's none of them without the God MC, and that's why he's known as the God MC.
Facts.
KRS-One changed the game. Criminal Minded changed everything. Nobody was talking that kind of stuff. My 9mm goes bang, and all of that. That gave birth to EPMD and all Rakim and Chris and Kane and Mel. Super important, man. Slick Rick. How many people sample Slick Rick? How many people talk in 2 voices because of Slick Rick? When you heard Biggie do the 2-voice stuff, where do you think that came from? That came from Rick. That came from, who's the greatest storyteller of all time?
Rick.
Slick Rick. Everybody knows the words to the Slick Rick song. Everybody knows Mona Lisa. There's 2 different voices. Right?
Facts.
Just about then, my friend Trevor came in. He said, yo, Rick, don't you know playing with these snakes is a sin? He grabbed me by my shirt. He put me right at the door. He said, when you hear a MC like Positive K is I Got a Man, right? When you hear him do that, that's all because of Rick. That was Rick. That wasn't no girl. That wasn't no girl saying, you know, Mona Lisa,
Right.
you know, excuse me, did well, I'm 7 and I don't like pirates, never been to college, but I got crazy knowledge, over 18 and my eyes are green. That's all Rick. You listening to it like it's 2 different people, but it's Rick. That's hip hop, bro. That's incredible. That's innovation.
Absolutely.
That's
amazing.
something different, man. When LL made I Need Love, nobody made no love song. That was incredible. Ron told me that changed their whole dynamic. He said he thought he had him. When he dropped Peter Piper, he was like, LL was his stiffest competition. When he dropped Peter Piper, he's like, I got him. Then L came when I Need Love.
Killed it.
Killed him.
Killed him.
Buried him with a love song. Crazy, man. That's hip hop. That's why we love it.
What's next for Ed Lover?
More stand up.
Yeah.
Just got off the road with my cousin, Talent. A lot of people don't know that's my first cousin, Talent the comedian.
Okay.
Just got off the road with him. The Cousins of Comedy tour. We out there. at Lover and Friends, coming somewhere near you. More comedy, more podcasting. I love doing Come On Sunday podcast. Just more exploration. Got a movie I'm selling.
Okay.
Finally.
Okay.
Yeah, wrote a story called Miss Christmas and got my man Jeff Farley to write the script for me. So we're in the midst of selling that right now. So it's a lot of stuff I'm still interested in doing.
The best is yet to come for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know?
I've been talking about doing an EP for a while now.
Why not?
I was talking about doing an EP. I was trying to get my dudes that I used to be a No Face in, where back in the days when we had a label through Def Jam. I was like, yo, we need to go back in the studio and do an album together. And I told him, I said, I got a name for us too. We ain't gonna use No Face no more. And he was like, what's our name? I was like, OWN, O-A-N. He was like, what that stand for? I was like, old ass niggas. Let's just do some music and put it in the atmosphere, man, and just have some fun.
Ed, I want to give a toast to you.
Thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
I want to give a toast to every person that you've inspired, for you being the foundation, one of the many layers of the foundations of hip hop. If it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for a Tig, if it wasn't for the streets, and I wouldn't be here. A lot of us wouldn't be here. You know, we tuned in every day to watch you guys. First from one day, then to a couple of days into the whole week. You inspired us, man.
Well, thank
you.
Dre ain't here, but I'll drink for Dre too.
Absolutely.
And T Money. And rest in peace to Ted and Peter.
Thank you.
Thank
Ed.
you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Welcome to Members Only.
Thank you for giving me my flowers while I'm alive. That's why I told New York City. I was like, can I get my street named after me, please?
You don't have a street named after
No,
your
I don't
street.
want to die and then get it. Then I don't
Yeah,
see
you
it.
need a
I
street
want it now.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Rap.
Oh, that's good.